Ah, there we go. I see we have Kree-chan, Leilani, and Jam Jam so far, and I'm sure that a few others will join us as well. But for now, good evening. Welcome in, everybody. How's your day today? Thank you, Jam Jam. Oh, compliments so early already. Let's see. Today... Yeah, I had fun today. For a while, I was just taking care of Jack Jack, my good old puppy. Thank you, Cree. And that was a sweet little moment. He was he was so excited to be down there with me. He started drinking water way too fast. And so much too. And I'm like, hey, buddy, are you okay? Would it be alright? He's okay, of course. Just, he has a habit of drinking water and then having to clear his throat afterwards. Which he did fine this time. Very excitable little guy. I love him. He did get plenty of cuddles today. Actually, hi Vi. And you have a question, Leilani? Then, by all means, go ahead and ask it. What's up? And how are you, Vi? My brave little spark. That's just you from now on. It's too late. It's already set in stone. We've already gone back in time and it's set. It was fated to be. Anyways, After after spending time with Jack Jack, I don't think I played too much today. Going into cardiac arrest? Oh my. Actually, that's not true. I was grinding a lot in my mobile gacha game. In fact, I grinded so much that out of everyone, I got our crew up to rank 362. Which gacha? Grand Blue Fantasy, the mobile game. Does Jam Jam like to lick me because I can stick out my tongue? No. That happened. That started way before. That was like day one. Hi, Julie. No, that was day one with Solar who started that, and then Jam Jam quickly followed suit. And Wampus. And everyone. Since then. It's never stopped. This is news to you? So yeah, are you in trouble? No, not at all. Ah, hello Leilani on YouTube. What did I say? Pretty much Leilani was asking when did the licking start? Like, do you lick me because I have tongue toggle? And I'm like, no. It's just been happening since the very beginning. So, after doing a heavy grind, I spent some time with some friends. And some of you won't like to hear this. You're today years old when you learn about the tongue toggle. Ah, that's very fair. In that case, I'm glad YouTube is a thing then. It's always good to have a backup. So after the grinding, again, spent time with a friend. And we just watched stuff, and also, much to the chagrin of many people, he's keeping up his blood oath. And we were reading Homestuck together. And, man, the opening is still super fun. Like, pre-troll era, I think, is peak personally. There's still fantastic stuff afterwards, of course, but that's where I had the most fun. The animations, so glorious. I know, bye. You were here, and specifically I said that for you. Yeah, good times. And then, of course, pointing out anytime Toby Fox pops up. And we just watched a bunch of videos. Hi, Jen Jen. Congrats on making the hashtag in Blue Sky. Yeah, I didn't make the video yet, but I'll get to that eventually. We made some progress, though. Thank you, Jam Jam. And you do still regularly listen to the albums? Yeah, I feel that. Ah, Ozuro distracted by the booty shakes. Very, very fair. You know, since we posted a lot of food today in the Discord, I'm going back to my roots. When I first started using my voice for evil, for fun, way back in a Discord, where I was just reading recipes. Cooking stream, not yet. We'll get there. But the recipe I've chosen for you all today is from the official Disney Parks cookbook. Yeah, Julie might remember that. Hi, Kayleigh. I have a Discord, as it turns out, I do. On Twitch, you can actually scroll on down, and if you see that Discord button, yeah, it turns out that works. For those on YouTube, I have to grab. Is it a cookie recipe? We do have cookie recipes in here. But the first one I am picking is potato pancakes with chive sour cream. I thought that sounded fun. This savory appetizer is paired at Epcot International Food and Wine Festival with a sparkling brut wine. The starchier the potato, the crispier the potato pancake. Use classic Idaho or russet. For the chive sour cream, you will need half a cup of sour cream, 1 bundle of chives, finely chopped, at least 2 tablespoons. Pour salt to taste, freshly ground black pepper to taste, and the juice from 1 lemon, optional. For the potato pancakes, you will need 1 pound of classic Idaho or russet potatoes peeled, 1 small onion, 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of flour, coarse salt to taste, of course, and vegetable oil for frying. For the chive sour cream, it's simple. Mix ingredients together in a small bowl. Easy peasy. It's a good way to wind down after seeing Sonic 3. I still need to watch it. But that's exciting. Say it in the Mickey Mouse voice? Not in ASMR mode. That is going to make some ears explode. I can record it later when we're not using high sensitivity. And then post it in the Discord just for the funnies, but I am not blowing people's ears out. For the potato pancakes, though, it is 5 simple steps. And Gracie the Bear, thank you for following. Welcome in. I hope your evening's going great. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm reading. Glasses. Fair enough, Creechan, but not tonight. Unless I accidentally punch the mic again. 4 potato pancakes. Coarsely grate potatoes and onion with box grater or food processor fitted with a grating disc. Press the potatoes and onions to extract as much liquid as possible. Stir the potatoes and onions with egg and flour in a large bowl. Mix well, but don't overwork. Season with salt. Step 3. Heat 3 tablespoons of oil in a large, heavy skillet. When hot enough to sizzle a drop of water, carefully drop a tablespoon of potato mixture into the skillet, pressing with a spatula to slightly flatten. Cook until golden brown on the bottom for about 4 to 5 minutes. Gently flip and cook until golden brown on the other side. Or again, another 4 to 5 minutes. Repeat with the remaining potato mixture and more oil. Glad you have dumplings during these hungry times. Very fair. And hey, Sebmar, welcome in. Maybe you could also try this recipe. What's in the blue pouch? Where's the blue pouch? Oh, don't worry about it. it helps to relax. Step 4. Transfer the paper towels to drain, then season with salt. Keep warm on baking sheets in the oven while making the remaining pancakes. And then step 5. Serve the pancakes hot, drizzled with the chive sour cream. And just like that, you will have your potato pancakes with chive sour cream, made by your own hands. And I think that's amazing. So, do we want more recipes? Or, Lay's going to eat you? That's valid. You are extremely sweet after all. Either we can continue with some more recipes, or we have the Odyssey and the light novel. Yes, please, more foods. Alright, let's see. We have lots in here, plenty of drinks, plenty of sweets and savories. I think I remember hearing someone was eating salmon very recently. Either today or yesterday. Hi, Luxie. Welcome in. So, here we have a recipe for peri-peri salmon. Disney guests are well-traveled and love exploring new tastes, and each new restaurant reflects our chef's desires to surprise and delight diners. Peri-peri, or biri-biri, is the Swahili word for pepper. Sambal is a hot sauce typical, made from a variety of chili peppers and other ingredients like garlic, ginger, lime juice, vinegar, shrimp paste, and /or fish sauce. It can usually be found in the international food aisle of the grocery store. Too true. So what you will need for the salmon itself is a 1/4 cup of sambal chili sauce, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of crab seasoning such as Old Bay, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and 4 6-ounce salmon fillets. For the spicy tomato topping, 1 large tomato, finely diced, 2 cloves of garlic, finely minced, 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons of sambal chili powder, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh basil, 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. For the salmon, it is just 3 steps. Step 1. Whisk together the sambal, oil, paprika, crab seasoning, Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper in a small bowl. Step 2. Coat the salmon in the mixture. Place in a shallow dish. Cover tightly with plastic, wrap, and refrigerate for 2 hours. Step 3. Preheat an oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Or, Celsius it up. Carefully heat oil mixture in a large non-stick skillet over high heat. Sear the salmon in the skillet until golden in about 2 minutes. Flip, then place the skillet in the oven and cook for 3 to 5 minutes or until the fish is cooked through, so we're just giving it a nice sear. And for the spicy tomato topping, combine all the ingredients in a small bowl, and then step 2, spoon it over the salmon just before serving. And just like that, you'll have a wonderful peri-peri salmon. Can't believe today's educational. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Have you guys eaten? I hope you've at least had some water or something to drink. Restless as usual? I'm sorry, Luxie. But at least you can relax over here, surrounded by all these lovely people. Ooh, the noodle is relaxed. Wonderful. I'm still excited to hear about that new restaurant, the Isekai Noodle. Ooh, I think it's time for something sweeter. I wonder if you could replace Alexa's voice for mine when you cook. Maybe I'll just release a greatest hits of recipes. Hey Rex, welcome in. I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? There have been some photos people have been uploading recently. Nice. Ooh. We'll send them? Sounds good. You're okay? You've been busy? Very fair. Well, hopefully you have some time to relax now. Welcome in. How we all doing? I think we're all doing pretty well. Relaxing. Some are restless. Some thirsty. But overall, I think we're all doing well. And we're about to do even better in just a moment because I found a recipe for amaretto flan with white chocolate whip. The Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant takes diners back to the golden age of Hollywood with a fine dining menu that includes rich desserts. A notable sweet course from past menus is this amaretto flan. With heavy cream, it is more like a custard than a traditional flan, and the amaretto adds a subtle almond flavor, which means I can't have it. So you'll all have to try this one for me. For the amaretto flan, you're going to need 1 extra large egg, or extra large egg yolks, a half cup of sugar, 3 cups of heavy cream, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, and 2 tablespoons of amaretto liqueur. Pick scent? Ooh, exciting. I can't eat chocolate. I mean, I shouldn't, but I do. It's the almond extract that's going to kill me. Oh. Ooh, that Isekai Noodles store looks great. Fantastic. So, oh, right, we also have to make the whip as well. For the white chocolate whip, you'll need 1 cup of heavy cream and half a cup of white chocolate chips. And for the garnish, 6 amaretti cookies. They look kind of like wafers. Like Nilla wafers, but more crumbly. For the amaretto flan, preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, or equivalent in Celsius. Mix egg yolks, and sugar in the bowl of an electric mixer on low speed for 1 minute, scraping the sides of the bowl until fully combined. Scald heavy cream in a medium saucepan over medium heat for 6 to 8 minutes. Do not boil. Slowly add hot cream to eggs with a mixer running on low speeds. Then you'll mix in the vanilla extract, almond extract, and the amaretto. You'll pour in custard into 6-ounce ramekins. Each ramekin should have 2/3 cups of custard. Place the ramekins in the baking pan. Carefully pour boiling water into pan until it reaches halfway up the sides of the ramekin. Bake 35 to 40 minutes until the flans are set when gently shaken. Then you'll remove from the oven and then remove the ramekins from the water. You were looking for sleep ASMR, but this is fine too. Welcome, Felix on Koku. Well, hopefully the gentle tones put you to sleep anyways. Should help when I start reading stories proper. So, remove from the oven and remove ramekins from water. Cool for 4 hours or until flans are room temperature. Then refrigerate for 8 hours or until the flan is firm. For the chocolate whip, you'll heat heavy cream to boiling in a small saucepan over medium heat for 2 to 3 minutes. Remove from heat and add white chocolate chips while whisking constantly until melted. Zero? Well, I see you on YouTube now too. Then you'll refrigerate for 8 to 24 hours. After removing from the heat and adding chocolate chips, am I reading a cookbook? It turns out, yes, I actually am. Food from Disneyland, from Disney World, to Tokyo Disney Sea, from all the Disney parks around the world. It's an interesting cookbook, that's for sure. And then to serve, whip the cooled cream and white chocolate chip mixture into a bowl of an electric mixer on high speeds for 2 to 3 minutes until soft peaks form. Then you'll top each flan with 2 tablespoons of white chocolate whip and then serve with the amaretti cookies. You don't know if you're going to be hungry or if you're going to fall asleep after this. The price we pay. Well, that was fun. But I do think, after that lovely little preview, it's time for the main course. The reason we're all here. And that's, of course, for some nice, proper stories. As we are still in the middle of reading the Odyssey and a light novel. Do give me one moment, though, as I have to check something really quickly. Go ahead and settle in, maybe get something to drink. Go raid the fridge, but you're too lazy, fair and valid. Hopefully, you'll just remember these recipes next time you decide to cook something. In the future, of course. For now, though, be right back. Hello. Hopefully that didn't take too long. But for now, I am back. Just had to go look for something really quickly. Bit of a small family emergency. Nothing major, nothing big. Just sometimes we don't have the things we need. Oh well. So, now that I'm here, let's go ahead and pick up from right where we left off in the Odyssey. And to catch everyone up, as it has been a while, Odysseus or Ulysses, because, Roman text this time. What is their name? Nazca. Nazca and all the girls are currently taking care of Ulysses. Making him look good, making him darling and lovely. Because, he was kind of crusty after being battered by the sea. That's another phone call for me. One moment. Okay. There was a mysterious package at the door. Of course, addressed to me. So I'm like, what? What'd I order? And being the curious individual that I am, I took the time to open it. Turns out, an order came in that I ordered but was not for me. So now we're going to have some very, very fancy plates. And thank you. It's good to be back. From here, I really should not be bothered for a while. We'll see. So, continuing on with the Odyssey. Hush, my dears, for I want to say something. I believe the gods who live in heaven have sent this man to the Phaeacians. When I first saw him, I thought him plain, but now his appearance is like that of the gods who dwell in heaven. I should like my future husband to be just such another as he is, if he would only stay here and not want to go away. However, give him something to eat and drink. Hi, cats, welcome in. They did as they were told and set food before Ulysses, who ate and drank ravenously, for it was long since he had had any food of any kind. Meanwhile, Nazca bethought her of another matter. She got the linen folded and placed in the wagon. She then yoked the mules, and, as she took her seat, she called Ulysses. "Stranger," said she, "rise, and let us be going back to the town. I will introduce you at the house of my excellent father, where I can tell you that you will meet all the best people among the Phaeacians. But be sure and do as I bid you, for you seem to be a sensible person. As long as we are going past the fields and farmlands, follow briskly behind the wagon along with the maids, and I will lead the way myself. Presently, however, we shall come to the town, where you will find a high wall running all round it, and a good harbor on either side with a narrow entrance into the city, and the ships will be drawn up by the roadside, for everyone has a place where his own ship can lie. You will see the marketplace, with the temple of Neptune in the middle of it, and paved with large stones bedded in the earth. Here people deal in ship's gear of all kind, such as cables and sails, and here too are the places where oars are made, for the Phaeacians are not a nation of archers. They know nothing about bows and arrows, but are a seafaring folk, and pride themselves on their masts, oars, and ships, with which they travel far over the sea. I am afraid of the gossip and scandal that may be set on foot against me later on, for the people here are very ill-mannered, and some low fellow, if he met us, might say, "Who is this fine-looking fellow? This fine-looking stranger that is going about with Nazca? Where did she find him? I suppose she is going to marry him. Perhaps he is a vagabond sailor whom she has taken from some foreign vessel." No worries, Felix. This is the Odyssey. Classic book. Well, classic epic, really. Perhaps he is a vagabond sailor whom she has taken from some foreign vessel, for we have no neighbors, or some god has at last come down from heaven in answer to her prayers, and she is going to live with him all the rest of her life. It would be a good thing if she would take herself off and find a husband somewhere else, for she will not look at one of the many excellent young Phaeacians who are in love with her. This is the kind of disparaging remark that would be made about me, and I could not complain, for I should myself be scandalized at seeing any other girl do the like, and go about with men in spite of everybody, while her father and mother were still alive, and without having been married in the face of all the world. If, therefore, you want my father to give you an escort and to help you home, do as I bid you. You will see a beautiful grove of poplars by the roadside dedicated to Minerva. It has a well in it, and a meadow all around it. Here my father has a field of rich garden ground, about as far from the town as a man's voice will carry. Sit down there and wait for a while till the rest of us can get into the town and reach my father's house. Then When you think we must have done this, come into the town and ask the way to the house of my father Alcinous. You will have no difficulty in finding it. Any child will point it out to you, for no one else in the whole town has anything like such a fine house as he has. When you have got past the gates and through the outer court, go right across the inner court till you come to my mother. You will find her sitting by the fire and spinning her purple wool by firelight. It is a fine sight to see her as she leans back against one of the bearing posts with her maids all ranged behind her. Close to her seat stands that of my father, on which he sits and topes like an immortal god. Never mind him, but go up to my mother and lay your hands upon your knees if you would get home quickly. If you can gain her over, you may hope to see your own country again, no matter how distant it may be. So saying, she lashed the mules with her whip, and they left the river. The mules drew well, and their hoofs went up and down upon the road. She was careful not to go too fast for Ulysses and the maids, who were following on foot along with the wagon, so she plied her whip with judgment. As the sun was going down, they came to the sacred grove of Minerva, and there Ulysses sat down and prayed to the mighty daughter of Jove. "Hear me," he cried, "daughter of aegis-bearing Jove, unweariable, hear me now, for you gave no heed to my prayers when Neptune was wrecking me. Now, therefore, have pity upon me, and grant that I may find friends and be hospitably received by the Phaeacians." Thus did he pray, and Minerva heard his prayer, but she would not show herself to him openly, for she was afraid of her uncle Neptune, who was still furious in his endeavors to prevent Ulysses from getting home. And thus ends Book 6. And that will lead us in to Book 7, Reception of Ulysses at the Palace of King Alcinous. Or is it just Alcinous? Clap, clap, clap. Thank you, Vi. Thus then did Ulysses wait and pray, but the girl drove on to the town. When she reached her father's house, she drew up at the gateway, and her brothers, comely as the gods, gathered round her, took the mules out off the wagon, and carried the clothes into the house, while she went to her own room, where an old servant, Eurymedusa of Aperia, lit the fire for her. This old woman had been brought by sea from Aperia, and had been chosen as a prize for Alcinous because he was king over the Phaeacians. Good night, Julie. Sleep well. I hope work treats you well tomorrow. And had been chosen as a prize for Alcinous because he was king over the Phaeacians, and the people obeyed him as though he were a god. She had been nurse to Nausicaa, and had now lit the fire for her, and brought her supper for her into her own room. Presently, Ulysses got up to go towards the town, and Minerva shed a thick mist all round him to hide him in case any of the proud Phaeacians who met him should be rude to him or ask him who he was. Then, as he was just entering town, she came towards him in the likeness of a little girl carrying a pitcher. She stood right in front of him, and Ulysses said, "My dear, will you be so kind as to show me the house of King Elsinore? I am an unfortunate foreigner in distress, and do not know your town and country." Then Minerva said, "Yes, Father Stranger, I will show you the house you want, for Elsinore lives quite close to my own father. I will go before you and show the way, but do not say a word as you go, and do not look at any man, nor ask him questions, for the people here cannot abide strangers, and do not like men who come from some other place. They are a sea-faring folk, and sail the seas by the grace of Neptune in ships that glide along like thought, or as a bird in the air." On this she led the way, and Ulysses followed in her steps, but not one of the Phaeacians could see him as he passed through the city in the midst of them, for the great goddess Minerva, in her goodwill towards him, had hidden him in a thick cloud of darkness. He admired their harbors, ships, places of assembly, and the lofty walls of the city, which, with the palisade on the top of them, were very striking. And when they reached the king's house, Minerva said, "This is the house, Father Stranger, which you would have me show you. You will find a number of great people sitting at the table, but do not be afraid. Go straight in, for the bolder a man is, the more likely he is to carry his point, even though he is a stranger. Find the queen. Her name is Arete, and she comes from the same family as her husband Alcinous. They both descend originally from Neptune, who was father to Nausitho by Periboea, a woman of great beauty. Periboea was the youngest daughter of Eurymedon, who had one time reigned over the giants, but he ruined his ill-fated people and lost his own life to boot. Neptune, however, lay with his daughter, and she had a son by him, the great Nausitho, who reigned over the Phaeacians. Nausitho had two sons, Rhexenor and Alcinous. Apollo killed the first of them while he was still a bridegroom and without male issue, but he left a daughter, Arete, whom Alcinous married, and honors as no other woman is honored, of all those that keep house along with their husbands. Thus she both was, and still is, respected beyond measure by her children, by Alcinous himself, and by the whole people, who look upon her as a goddess, and greet her whenever she goes about the city, for she is a thoroughly good woman, both in head and heart, and when any women are friends of hers, she will help their husbands also to settle their disputes. If you can gain her goodwill, you may have every hope of seeing your friends again and getting safely back to your home and country." Then Minerva left Scheria and went away over the sea. She went to Marathon and to the spacious streets of Athens, where she entered the abode of Erechtheus. But Ulysses went on to the house of Alcinous, and he pondered much as he paused a while before reaching the threshold of bronze, for the splendor of the palace was like that of the sun or moon. The walls on either side were bronze from end to end, and the cornice was of blue enamel. The doors were gold and hung on pillars of silver that rose from a floor of bronze, while the lintel was silver and the hook of the door was of gold. On either side there stood gold and silver mastiffs, which Vulcan, with his consummate skill, had fashioned expressly to keep watch over the palace of King Alcino, so they were immortal and could never grow old. Seats were ranged all along the wall, here and there, from one end to the other, with coverings of fine woven work which the women of the house had made. Here, the chief persons of the Phaeacians used to sit and eat and drink, for there was abundance at all seasons. And there were golden figures of young men with lighted torches in their hands, raised on pedestals to give light by night to those who were at table. There are 50 maid servants in the house, some of whom are always grinding rich yellow grain at the mill, while others work at the loom or sit and spin, and their shuttles go backwards and forwards like the fluttering of aspen leaves, while the linen is so closely woven that it will turn oil. As the Phaeacians are the best sailors in the world, so their women excel all others in weaving, for Minerva has taught them all manner of useful arts, and they are very intelligent. Outside the gate of the outer court, there is a large garden of about 4 acres with a wall all around it. It is full of beautiful trees, pears, pomegranates, and the most delicious apples. There are luscious figs also, and olives in full growth. The fruits never rot, nor fail all year round, neither winter nor summer, for the air is so soft that a new crop ripens before the old has dropped. Pear grows on pear, apple on apple, and fig on fig, and so also with the grapes, for there's an excellent vineyard on the level ground of a part of this. The grapes are being made into raisins. In another part they are being gathered. Some are being trodden in the wine tubs. Others further have shed their blossoms and are beginning to show fruit. Others again are just changing color. In the furthest part of the ground, there are beautifully arranged beds of flowers that are in bloom all year round. 2 streams go through it, the one turned in ducts throughout the whole garden, while the other is carried under the ground of the outer court to the house itself, and the townspeople draw water from it. Such then were the splendors which the gods had endowed the house of King Alcino. So here Ulysses stood for a while and looked about him. When he had looked enough, he crossed the threshold and went within the precincts of the house. There he found all the chief people among the Phaeacians making their drink offerings to Mercury, which they always did the last thing before going away for the night. He went straight through the court, still hidden by the cloak of darkness in which Minerva had enveloped him, till he reached Arete and King Alcino. Then he laid his hands upon the knees of the queen, and at that moment the miraculous darkness fell away from him, and he became visible. Everyone was speechless with surprise at seeing a man there, but Ulysses began at once with his partition. Ah, I was just given a gift. Hooray! We love receiving a nice, fresh Pepto-Bismol. Very handy for when the stomach is very, very uncomfortable. I don't need it right now, luckily, but you never know. The gift of easy digestion, oh yes. There is no greater gift one can give, besides a greater gift. Also, can I just say how incredibly strange it would be? There's just like a blot of darkness walking around, and you're the queen, and then suddenly there's just a gorgeous man grabbing your knees. That's a little weird. But at least he starts talking almost immediately. Seems like an average Tuesday. Where do you go? Queen Orit, he exclaimed, daughter of great Rexenor, in my distress, I humbly pray you, as also your husband and these your guests, whom may heaven prosper with long life and happiness, and may they leave their possessions to their children, and all the honors conferred upon them by estate, to help me home to my country as soon as possible, for I have been long in trouble and away from my friends. Then he sat down on the hearth among the ashes, and they all held their peace, till presently the old hero Ikemen, who was an excellent speaker and an elder among the Phaeacians, plainly and in all honesty addressed them thus. Alcino, said he, it is not creditable to you that a stranger should be seen sitting among the ashes of your hearth. Everyone is waiting to hear what you are about to say. Tell him then to rise and take a seat on a stool inlaid with silver, and bid your servants mix some wine and water, that we may make a drink offering to Jove, the Lord of Thunder, who takes all well-disposed suppliants under his protection, and let the housekeeper give him some supper of whatever there may be in the house. When Alcino heard this, he took Ulysses by the hand, raised him from the hearth, and bade him take the seat of Laodamas, who had been sitting beside him, and was his favorite son. A maidservant then brought him water in a beautiful golden ewer, and poured it into a silver basin for him to wash his hands, and drew a clean table beside him. An upper servant brought him bread, and offered him many good things of what there was in the house, and Ulysses ate and drank. Also, gotta say, good idea giving that ewer to a ranged DPS. Then Alcino said to one of the servants, Hotino, mix a cup of wine and hand it round, that we may make drink offerings to Jove, the Lord of Thunder, who is the protector of all well-disposed suppliants. Vtano then mixed wine and water and handed it round after giving every man his drink offering. When they had made their offerings and had drunk each as much as was minded, Alcino said, "Aldermen and town councillors of the Phaeacians, hear my words. You have had your supper, so now go home to bed. Tomorrow morning I shall invite a still larger number of aldermen, and will give a sacrificial banquet in honor of our guest. We can then discuss the question of his escort and consider how we may at once send him back rejoicing to his own country without trouble or inconvenience to himself, no matter how distant it may be. We must see that he comes to no harm while on his homeward journey, but when he is once at home, he will have to take the luck he was born with, for better or worse, like other people. It is possible, however, that the stranger is one of the immortals who has come down from heaven to visit us. But in this case, the gods are departing with their usual practice, for hitherto they have made themselves perfectly clear to us when we have been offering them hecatombs. They come and sit at our feasts just like one of ourselves, and if any solitary wayfarer happens to stumble upon some one or other of them, they affect no concealment, for we are as near of kin to the gods as the Cyclopses and savage giants are." Then Ulysses said, "Pray, Alcino, do not take any such notion into your head. I have nothing of the immortal about me, neither in body nor mind, and most resemble those among you who are the most afflicted. Indeed, were I to tell you all that heaven has seen fit to lay upon me, you would say that I was still worse off than they are. Nevertheless, let me sup in spite of sorrow, for an empty stomach is a very importunate thing." Never seen that word before. "And thrusts itself on a man's notice, no matter how dire is his distress. I am in great trouble, yet it insists that I shall eat and drink, bids me lay aside all memory of my sorrows, and dwell only on the due replenishing of itself. As for yourselves, do as you propose, and at break of day set about helping me to get home. I shall be content to die if I may first once more behold my property, my bondsmen, and all the greatness of my house." Thus did he speak. Everyone approved his saying, and agreed that he should have his escort inasmuch as he had spoken reasonably. Then, when they had made their drink offerings, and had drunk each as much as he was minded, they went home to bed, every man in his own abode, leaving Ulysses in the cloister with Arete and Alcino, while the servants were taking the things away after supper. Arete was the first to speak, for she recognized the shirt, cloak, and good clothes that Ulysses was wearing as the work of herself and of her maids. So she said, "Stranger, before we go any further, there is a question I should like to ask you. Who and whence are you, and who gave you those clothes? Did you not say you had come here from beyond the sea?" And Ulysses answered, "It would be a long story, madam, were I to relate in full the tale of my misfortunes, for the heavy hand of heaven has been laid heavy upon me. But as regards to your question, there is an island far away in the sea which is called the Ogygian. Here dwells the cunning and powerful goddess Calypso, daughter of Atlas. She lives by herself far from all neighbors human or divine. Fortune, however, brought me to her hearth, all desolate and alone, where Jove struck my ship with his thunderbolts and broke it upon in mid-ocean. My brave comrades were drowned, every man of them, but I stuck to the keel and was carried hither and thither for the space of 9 days, till at last during the darkness of the 10th night the gods brought me to the Ogygian island where the great goddess Calypso lives. She took me in and treated me with utmost kindness. Indeed, she wanted to make me immortal, that I might never grow old, but she could not persuade me to let her do so. I stayed with Calypso 7 years straight on end, and watered the good clothes she gave me with my tears during the whole time. But at last, when the 8th year came round, don't mind that, she bade me depart of her own free will, either because Jove had told her she must, or because she had changed her mind. She sent me from her island on a raft, which she provisioned with abundance of bread and wine. Moreover, she gave me good stout clothing, and sent me a wind that blew both warm and fair. Days 7 and 10 did I sail over the sea, and on the 18th I caught sight of the first outlines of the mountains upon your coast, and glad indeed was I to set eyes upon them. Nevertheless, there was still much trouble in store for me, for at this point Neptune would let me go no further, and raised a great storm against me. The sea was so terribly high that I could no longer keep to my raft, which went to pieces under the fury of the gale, and I had to swim for it till wind and current brought me to your shores. There I tried to land, but could not, for it was a bad place, and the waves dashed me against the rocks. So I again took to the sea and swam on till I came to a river that seemed the most likely landing place, for there were no rocks, and it was sheltered from the rain. Here then I got out of the water and gathered my senses together again. Night was coming on, so I left the river and went into a thicket where I covered myself all over with leaves, and presently heaven sent me off into a very deep sleep. That startled the bejesus out of you? I'm so sorry, Cor. It scared me too. Unfortunately, gravity is a harsh mistress, with a mind of her own that just drop water bottles off my desk. Or to ghost. Happens sometimes. I'm used to it, unfortunately. You should throw the water bottle at me? That's mean. Now why would you do something like that, Cor? Be nice. Sick and sorry as I was, I slept among the leaves all night, and through the next day till afternoon, when I woke as the sun was westering, and saw your daughter's maids servants playing upon the beach, and your daughter among them, looking like a goddess. It's my fault it fell? Maybe. It was an accident, though. I besought her aid, and she proved to be of an excellent disposition, much more so than could be expected from so young a person, for young people are apt to be thoughtless. She gave me plenty of bread and wine, and when she had had me washed in the river, she also gave me the clothes in which you see me. Now, therefore, though it has pained me to do so, I have told you the whole truth. Enjoy your lurking core. And sorry. I'm sorry. Then Elsinore said, Stranger, it was very wrong of my daughter not to bring you on at once to my house along with the maids, seeing that she was the first person whose aid you asked. Pray, do not scold her, replied Ulysses. She is not to blame. She did tell me to follow along with the maids, but I was ashamed and afraid, for I thought you might be perhaps displeased if you saw me. Every human being is sometimes a little suspicious and irritable. Stranger, replied Alcinous, I am not the kind of man to get angry about nothing. It is always better to be reasonable. But by Father Jove, Minerva, and Apollo, now that I see what kind of person you are, and how much you think as I do, I wish you would stay here, marry my daughter, and become my son-in-law. If you will stay, I will give you a house and an estate, but no one, heaven forbid, shall keep you here against your own wish. And that you may be sure of this, I will attend tomorrow to the matter of your escort. You can sleep during the whole voyage if you like, and the men shall sail you over smooth waters, either to your own home or wherever you please, even though it may be a long way further off than Euboea, which those of my people who saw it, when they took yellow-haired Rhadamanthus to see Tityus, the son of Gaia, tell me is the furthest of any place. And yet they did the whole voyage in a single day without distressing themselves, and came back again afterwards. You will thus see how much my ships excel all others, and what magnificent oarsmen my sailors are. Then was Ulysses glad, and prayed aloud, saying, Father Jove, grant that Alcinous may do all as he has said, for so he will win an imperishable name among mankind, and at all the same time I shall return to my country. Thus did they converse. Then Arete told her maids to set a bed in the room that was in the gatehouse, and make it a good red rugs, and to spread coverlets on the top of them with woolen cloaks for Ulysses to wear. The maids thereon went out with torches in their hands, and when they had made the bed, they came up to Ulysses and said, Rise, sir stranger, and come with us, for your bed is ready. And glad indeed was he to go to his rest. So Ulysses slept in a bed placed in a room over the echoing gateway, but Alcinous lay in the inner part of the house, and with the queen, his wife, by his side. And thus ends Book 7. Honestly, these shorter chapters are very, very enjoyable to me. When they get too long and wordy, I tend to get kinda lost and a little intimidated. But when it's just these smaller ones, that is always nice. You like and feels like progress? Yeah. However, we have made a good amount of progress. So, I think I'm going to pause the Odyssey here, and we will go back to the light novel, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, which we should probably try to finish. I'll do that soon. Possibly tomorrow. But I will have to tell everyone I will not be streaming tomorrow, because tomorrow is the bi-weekly Monday, and I will be going to my voice acting workshop, where you see my dream ever since I was young has been to be a voice actor. And quite a few of you have seen the workshop results in the Discord. So hopefully we keep that up. Who knows? Maybe shenanigans might happen in the future. For now, though, voice acting's great. Thank you, Vi. But yeah, we'll begin Chapter 2 of Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. Chapter 2. For some reason, a legendary beast contracted with me when I made ginger fried pork. 3 days have passed since leaving Keels. If I had ridden the stagecoach, we would be in Venan by now. And from there, it would have been another half day to Venan's border town, Valliers. However, we were walking, so we'd finally passed the halfway point. It was taking a long time because we were on foot, but other than that, there had been no real problems. The members of Iron Will were pretty skilled, so they quickly defeated all the goblins and wolves that had appeared thus far. As expected of sea rankers, monsters of that level probably didn't even serve as a warm-up. The sun will be setting soon. Let's stop here. At Werner's words, everyone started preparing camp. I was on food duty, so I was going to be a little careful picking out the menu this time. Anything too eccentric or complicated might have been considered bad by this world's standards, so I made sure to make it as simple as possible. I'm thinking today should be grilled sausages, pot au feu, and bread. Everyone seemed to like meat, so there shouldn't be any complaints. First, take the preheated pot and cut bacon into it. Then, put in vegetables and sausage. After giving the ingredients a little while to cook, put it in the water. Once it starts to boil, throw in the bouillon cubes and let it simmer on low heat. Yeah, this is looking good. I gave it a taste test, and the saltiness of the bacon and sausage had seeped in, so it didn't seem like I would need to adjust the taste at all. All that was left was to grill some more sausage on the side. Dinner's ready. I handed out the pot au feu in wooden bowls, along with the grilled sausage and bread on plates. Oh, it's delicious. Makoto's food is great, as usual, Vincent said, talking between vigorous bites of his food. Rita nodded heartily at his words. It really is delicious. It might be because I've got such good food in my belly, but I feel like my body's moving better than usual. I've also been feeling more powerful ever since I started eating Makoto's food, Franca said, agreeing with Rita. Eating is the most important thing to humans. Depending on how delicious the food is, people's moods will definitely change. The normally silent Ramon chimed in seriously. Yeah, I get it. You like my cooking, Ramon. Thanks, man. That's certainly true. People have to eat to live. If that's the case, it's obvious that tasty meals would be better than bad ones. It really just means that we're pretty lucky to be able to eat like this while traveling. Werner was the one to sum it all up. It was somehow actually a little embarrassing to be praised that much. I guess this was a victory for Japan's food industry. But I wonder, I thought to myself, what's up with what Rita and Franca said about them moving better? I didn't make anything really special. It didn't seem like there was anything bad going on, but I was still a little curious. Let's use appraisal a little here, I decided. I did a spit take. What the heck are you doing? Nothing. There was just something weird in the soup and I choked. I'm fine. Plus 27 HP and plus 2 MP? What the heck is that? I reflexively spat out my food. Is it because they ate my food? Is it really? I appraised the pot of food I had in my hands. Pot of food made with ingredients from another world. Increases max HP by 20% for 1 hour. Sorry, I was just acting that. Be glad I didn't do the spit take. Increases max HP by 20% for 1 hour. Oh. It was totally my cooking's fault. Wait. If the pot of food raised HP, then what raised her MP? The sausage? The bread? Sausage from another world raises max MP by 2% for 10 minutes. White bread from another world raises max MP by 1% for 10 minutes. Oh, so it was both of them. Thinking about it, I mused, isn't this pretty dangerous? I mean, you can raise your HP and MP just by eating. If someone else finds out about this, I feel chills. This is definitely 100% without a doubt something nobody could ever know. Luckily, only summoned heroes get the appraisal skill, and magic tools that could appraise only belong to countries or guilds. Also, people would need to use those magic tools in order to confirm their own statuses, so there shouldn't be any chance of them finding out that way. As long as I kept my mouth shut, this should never get out. I've locked up my lips and thrown away the key, I decided. I will never, ever speak a word of this to anyone. 5 days had passed since we departed from Kiel's. Let's stop here for the day. The sun was starting to set, and as usual, we made camp at Werner's command. Then I'll go ahead and use the red boar's meat as I like, okay? Sure, we'll be looking forward to it. A red boar is a large boar monster with red fur that the members of Iron Will had hunted along the way earlier. Goblins and wolf monsters, apparently they're called gray wolves, don't really have any parts that are worth anything, so we had left their bodies as is. But I was told that the red boar's meat, hide, and fangs all fetch a fair price. As expected of adventurers, their dismantling work was quick and professional. The problem was that it would be trouble to carry this much stuff. When they started talking about throwing away the relatively cheap meat, I told them that I had room in my item box and offered to put the meat inside. And so, that's how I ended up getting permission to use the meat for our meals. At first I thought to make steaks, but that would take time, so I rejected that idea. Instead, today's menu was going to be that. My favorite, ginger fried pork. First, cut the red boar meat into thin slices before marinating it in the ginger fry sauce I bought. While that's happening, cut cabbage into small strips. After that, all that's left is to cook the marinated meat. I also quickly prepared the usual instant consommé soup. Glad you're resting easy. Dinner's ready. I cooked the red boar meat with some flavoring from my homeland. I hope it suits everyone's tastes. I handed out the red boar fried with ginger and some cabbage on the wooden plates, some consommé soup, and bread to everyone. Oh, the smell really gets my appetite going. What the heck? It's great! Delicious! It's the first time I've eaten something this good. I don't really like red boar meat, but even I think it's delicious like this. It's my first time eating cabbage raw, but it tastes great with this meat. Whoa, it's just a storm of praise here. I just cooked it with a certain company's sauce, though. That certain company that makes a lot of different sauces. Also, I realized, so cabbage is called cabbage in this world, huh? While everyone was busy praising the cooking, and while I was also making my way through the meal thinking it was delicious, we suddenly heard a voice. Humans, give me some of that too. The owner of the voice was a wolf, with such lustrous fur and radiating such divine aura that it was ridiculous to even compare it to the wolf monsters we'd seen up until now. The adventurers froze. They didn't even quiver. Hey, human, can you not hear me? I slowly held out my half-eaten portion to him. As soon as I did that, the wolf that was as big as a cow thrust its face into the wooden plate and ate all of it in one bite. This is not enough. Give me more. It's a Fenrir, Werner whispered, face dripping with cold sweat. Is that such a dangerous monster that a party as seasoned as Iron Will can't move an inch? Big Bag. What should I do, even though we're so close to Venan? Pagoda, do as it says, Werner told me, but there was none left. It seemed to be a monster that understood human language, so it may be that, just as Werner said, following its wishes was the best way to get out of this unharmed. I'll have to cook it, so would you be willing to wait? That is fine. I will wait, so make it quickly. I quickly cooked up some more red boar fried with ginger and handed it over to the Fenrir, or whatever it was. Fenrir ate it with gusto, and kept asking for more. In the end, it ate 7 or 8 kilos of the red boar fried with ginger. That was delicious. Nevertheless, to be able to satisfy me with so little meat, you are pretty good, human. So little meat, he says, even though he ate 7 or 8 kilos of it. How much does he even eat usually? Yes, I will form a contract with you. Huh? What's a contract? Hey, are you listening? I said I'd become your familiar. Familiar, he says. I think I've read web novels where they've done this sort of thing before, but does that mean I would be a tamer or something? No way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. I mean, it's a monster that talks, yeah? I couldn't help thinking, it's strong enough to freeze the members of Iron Will, yeah? To be contracted with something that strong. Isn't that bad? No, you see, Huh? This bastard. He's not gonna let me say no. This cannot be true. Could it be that you are trying to refuse a contract with me, Fenrir, retainer to the goddess of wind, Ninrir? I do not think you would do something so outrageous. But what say you? When Fenrir, the monster that could speak human language, said that, the members of Iron Will signaled to me with their eyes to hurry up and agree already. Do I really have to? Really? So yes is the only answer available here? I thought, resigned. I reluctantly replied with, I understand, and Fenrir nodded, satisfied with an, Come this way. At Fenrir's prompt, I had no choice but to get closer. Closer. Come right in front of mine eyes. Just as I was told, I stood right in front of Fenrir. Well then, I shall start the ritual of contract. Having said that, Fenrir put his forehead to mine. When our foreheads touched, my body lit up for a moment. Also, Cassian jump scare. With this, our contract is set. You have the appraisal skill. Are you a summoned hero? Not making a contract with me? I'm afraid that's too late, Core. You've already been contracted. Eyes are cool as heck. Oh, thank you. Are you a summoned hero? Hey! I instantly closed Fenrir's mouth. Hey, what are you doing? I whispered hurriedly, that's a secret. Oh, is that so? Yes, I understand. Then, try confirming your status. It looked like Fenrir understood, so he said that in a whisper that only I could hear. At Fenrir's prompt, I appraised myself. Status open. Somehow, my skills had increased. There was now a familiar's entry, and it said, Contracted Magic Beast, Fenrir. Everything seems to be fine. You can see it too? Who do you think I am? I am kin to the goddess of the wind. I would at least have something like appraisal. Is that so? Actually, what happens now that we have a contract? Sorry, you're not a lawyer. Now then, when this, I have become your familiar. Because of this, as the master, you have to look after me, your familiar. Do you understand? That's a crazy drawing by. You understand, he says, I thought, feeling a little miffed. But, huh? Is that right? By taking care of him, does he mean that familiars are basically pets? From now on, I look forward to 3 meals a day. Hey, 3 a day? That... Could he possibly have been lured into a contract by food? Is that right? Hey, you over there. I have already contracted with this one here. I will not attack you, so stop freezing up like that. Being addressed directly by the Fenrir, the members of Iron Will twitched. A corrupt PDF file. Everyone? This Fenrir over here understands speech, so I think it's okay, so... Stop reading chat? I'm afraid that's a little impossible. Like, in my setup, I literally have the light novel on one side and the chat on the other directly in front of both my eyes. Oh, you people. So silly. OneDrive. I don't use OneDrive, I use Google Drive. Oh, I had forgotten. We have been bound by contract, so you give me a name. Huh? Don't ask me that all of a sudden. Then... Pochi. You. Are you making fun of me? He seemed to get mad after I said Pochi. Actually, I thought, now that it looks like he got lured in by food, it seemed ridiculous to be afraid of him. OneDrive is better, though? I dislike how aggressively it tries to take the files out of my computer and put it onto the cloud. I need those right there where I put them. Not hidden someplace in Microsoft's drives. Hey, don't get mad at me. How about Koro then? When I said that, the Fenrir got even angrier. What's up with this guy? He's been pretty selfish, I thought, exasperated. Fine. Then since you're a Fenrir, how about Fel? Fel. I like that. Let us go with that. What's with him acting all important? Like this, the Fenrir's name became Fel. While that was happening, Iron Will finally started moving again. Among them, Werner, fastest to recover, hesitatingly raised his voice. Koda. Werner, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, but to think that I would lay eyes on the legendary beast Fenrir. Huh? Legendary? This guy who got lured in by food? There remain legends of a sighting around 300 years ago, but I've never even heard of anyone contracting with that Fenrir. Eh? Well, there are only enough of us Fenrirs to count with your hands. From what I have heard, there was a Fenrir that formed a contract 700 years ago. But I have lived over 1,000 years, and this is the first contract I have formed. Huh. So he's lived over 1,000 years, I noted. I will be able to eat food this good. Compared to that, serving a human for several tens of years is no loss to me. Ah, this guy actually said it. I thought more exasperated than anything. He just declared he did it for the food. They say that he's a legendary beast, but is this guy really okay? How sassy. Oh my, we have a lot to go through. Oh jeez, we have a lot to go through. I do hate to leave a little early, but it has been a long day, and I would like to get some rest tonight. After all, tomorrow will be Monday, and I'm gonna give it my all. So, hopefully I'll be able to catch you all in the Discord if I get home at a reasonable hour. Tomorrow do be Monday. Workshop, then coming on home. Hopefully this time the recording doesn't mess up so I actually have something to share. If not, let's all work moderately hard tomorrow. Fair, true, and valid. But only within our pay grade, that's right. That is the important thing after all. So, for those of you on Twitch, I will be sending you over to Vtuber. Meanwhile, for those of you on YouTube, someday I'll find out how rating works. And I'll be able to send you off to somebody else eventually, but for now, you'll have to make your own way. But everyone, rest well, take care, and I'll see you all properly on Tuesday. Have a good night. Take care. Sweet dreams.